Good morning, everybody, and this is the DAX day trade setups for today. So finally we have got some movement, and pretty excited about that. So this inverse head and shoulders, I think that's the first thing we want to have a look at the moment. There's our head and shoulders. Sorry, not an inverse head and shoulders, a normal head and shoulders. I have no idea why I am doing that this week, but I'm sure another cup of coffee will fix that. So at the moment, the target for that inverse head and shoulders is this gap down here. Let me just get there. So it's right down here. We haven't really got to it yet. We got to this swing high here where the buyers the buyers didn't really come in, but I think the sellers took profit at that point. So at the moment, we do have a fairly well-structured channel to the downside. I do like the way the oscillators are looking at the moment. Probably a little bit more downside coming. I would expect at least for us to come and close this gap at the moment. And this is the zone that I'd be looking at. So it's pretty much, I mean, the next major area is going to be a little bit further down, which is down here. I don't take the inside bars. I look for the outside bars, sorry. So these are outside bars. It's outside of price. This is inside of price. And these bars are inside of price. So that is the level that ultimately would attract me, which is 14,156. If we just start moving down through the time frames, if you look at the 3 hour, we have no diversions to speak of as such. Price is lower than the previous lows. We had a pretty decent breakout. Look at the moving average, it's crossed over, and we're below this area. So I wouldn't be wanting to short here. I think there are still some targets to the downside, so I would expect some kind of a rally back up into this area here of 15,100, 15,107, and then I would expect another move down to come and test these levels. That's kind of the structure that I would be looking at. You can see that gap is closed now. Let's just get to the hour rather than doing this on the 3 hour. So we had that gap there, and then we opened. There's a little gap there which we also closed, which is done, but then we do have another gap further down, which is here, and then you have another gap, very small one here, and there's a few little gaps at the bottom here as well. So there are still a few magnets to the downside. That's a pretty strong move down when you look at the hour. So at the moment, I'm looking for opportunities back at the top here. So this is a shorting area, 15,107, for a continuation to the downside. Now, hindsight being a perfect science, and I said to you yesterday, there's merit for, I've been saying it all of last month, in actual fact, that there's a merit for a move either way. So flip a coin and get it. These are the breaks. These are the two areas that we're looking at to break. And we eventually broke through this area of 15,107. And there was no real opportunity to get in on this move. But again, hindsight being a perfect science, just want to come down to 15 minutes and highlight something. So at this point here, you can see nothing really happening. When we did the videos, we were bottom of range, and I was like, maybe look in this area here to see what happens. You can see we've got a moving average crossover, and then you had that engulfing bar. So technically, using hindsight, which is a perfect indicator, your entry would have been on the break of this red bar with your stop above there. You would have captured this. I think that would have got me out, to be honest, because bottom of range, exhaustion bar onto a level, and then we kind of a gap down and just gradually move to the downside. So we haven't come back. If you look at, just have a look at my S&P video, which I've just completed, you'll see we actually came back to test this break on the S&P at the moment. And I'll look at the DAX next, the Dow next. So the DAX didn't follow suit. So for me, I think, we're probably going to find either sideways consolidation or a bit of a drift and then another leg down. I think we have at least a retest of 14,836 and then 14,697 on the cards at the moment. So that's kind of my play at the moment. But I am glad that the DAX has finally got a direction. I think there's a little bit more downside to come, to be honest, on the DAX. So, and I think the US markets will probably have another leg lower somewhere along the lines as well. So, yeah, that's kind of my view at the moment. I'm not looking to short here. Let me be clear. Don't worry about shorting here. But this area up here, 15107, is definitely an area where I would be looking to short, and probably short half a position with a stop above this, not the high of yesterday, the second high of yesterday. And until we break through the moving averages to the upside, that is going to be the play for a while on the lower time frames. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you later. Cheers for now.